Sunday afternoon. Just came from lunch at our local uh, soup kitchen where I eat lunch every day. And today we had pizza, and they gave me a whole pizza to bring home. So they're taking good care of us here in Norman, Oklahoma. And yeah, it's about 70 degrees. Going to get up almost to 80 degrees this afternoon. And we have a little breeze. It's a little windy right now. I got my bicycle helmet on, and I a I ride a electric bicycle. Let's just show it to you. There it is. That is a 28 mile an hour, 500-watt bicycle with 29-inch wheels on it. It is a monstrous bike. Um, I just rode it 36 miles yesterday. There's our backyard. See, there's some irises back there, and here's our little patio. And there's going to be our roses right here. I didn't get any potted plants this year. I'm kind of tired of that. And so there we go. And we'll just see if I can keep my fingers out of the way of the camera. And the NEDAC, according to historian Thaddeus Russell, the hippies are the ones that had it right. They've had it right. The problem with it was there was only really very few of them that were political, and in fact, I got to visit with one of them right down at the University of Oklahoma. My son made a deal with on the Speakers Bureau, and he traded Bork for Ginsburg. Allen Ginsburg came here, and got to see him and visit with him in the student union. You know, he was a frail old man at the time, and he kind of barely walked across the stage. But when his poetry performance started, it was fucking incredible. And, uh, and it was a performance. He rang that little bell and started. So, uh, yeah, Allen Ginsberg was one of the ones that was showing us the way. I think he got really bitter toward the end because nothing was happening, nothing was catching hold, and he knew that we were on our way to the end of being human, and that is what is happening to us in this capitalist system that took over from the feudalist system. We've just had too many fucking years of this shit, um, and, uh, and I'm afraid we're going to become non-human. Humans want to have freedom. We want to uh, have peace. We want to have love, and we want to have sex. And they're becoming impossible. But you know how they can become possible? We get the NEAT Act, where we would be the ones determining who got money, not the bankers, not the elite, us. That's what it's all about. H.R. 2990 of the 112th Congress by former Congressman Dennis Kucinich of Cleveland, Ohio, who started out his political career as a 21-year-old mayor of Cleveland, defeating the bankers who wanted to repossess their power company that was providing money for the poor. Of course, if we had the NEAT Act, we wouldn't have any poor. Uh, like, yeah, yeah, okay, you're fine. Hey, he seems to be doing okay. Okay, that's Samuel, 26-year-old, lives with me. It's like a 12-year-old. He's incredible, and and he's brought a lot of energy in my life since November when he walked right up to this patio and wanted two bucks. I gave him $2. Pretty soon, he came back for another $2, and then another $2. Finally, he's moved in, and so anyway, uh, what the hell was I talking about? Uh, anyway, the NEAT Act will provide all the money we need so that the hippies can be hippies and teach us how to fucking live again with freedom, with peace, with love, with sex. And, so, actually, because I liked Allen Ginsberg, that's the reason my son Tom got uh, got him to come here and speak, and I'm so glad and so thankful for the experience. And I, of course, encouraged Tom to get to know Allen Ginsberg. And Tom was actually on his way uh, to his apartment when we found out that Allen had died. And Tom actually had the wrong address. He had the address to Ginsberg's old apartment, didn't have the right address. So Tom was living in New York City at the time. And Tom, I'm so pleased with him when he was young. Uh, that he was actually director of the of the camping program for the homeless children of New York City. Yeah. So, so yeah, he's Tom did some very good things, and I think he's going through a midlife crisis now. He's 50 years old. Things haven't worked out like he thought they would. Of course, we believe so many fucking lies, and they are lies, and he- he's figuring it out now and having his midlife crisis. And, but we can make things different. This whole culture that we live in right now is a social construct. It was constructed specifically by certain people for certain goals, and and we can do the same damn thing and do it for ourselves so that we can be humans. Uh, and and the basic thing that we have to do is we have to change who creates money, because whoever has the power to create money controls the culture. And right now, it's the bankers and the elite. They're elite, and, and so we can take that power away from them. And that's exactly what the NEAT Act does. The NEAT Act has three parts. It first nationalizes the Federal Reserve and puts it into Treasury where the executive has control of it. And we do vote for the executive. Then it ends uh, fractional reserve banking, which is how the banks create money. In fact, right now, they don't even have to have any fraction in reserves. They can create, and it's actually been that way all along, because actually what happens is when they create a loan, they create the reserves to go with it. It might not be in their bank, but it's in the system. And if they need reserves that night, they can borrow it from the Fed. So actually, there's been no reserve requirement for a long time. Uh, so the banks, when they punch that button, when they give you a loan, they punch that button. That's when they created the money. That money did not exist anywhere before the banker punched the button. So ledger entry. So, okay, we do three things. First two, nationalize the Federal Reserve, end, then end fractional reserve banking, and then We spend money into the economy for the things we want. How about health care? How about free health care? How about free housing? How about free education? How about free transportation? How about free everything? Because money is free. Doesn't cost anything to create it. Don't worry about it. It's not going to cause inflation. We're just covering that right now. We're borrowing trillions of dollars, putting it into the economy, and there's no inflation. So uh, there's no, yeah, there is none. So anyway, uh, that's the three things that the Need Act does. HR 2990 of the 112th Congress. You have to put that all in your search. And by Dennis Kucinich, you don't have to put that in, of the 112th Congress. And you can read the act itself. It's all ready to go. It's ready to get your member of the House of Representatives to introduce it. Yeah, call them up. Say, hey, I want you to introduce the Need Act. Let's get started on this. And so, call them up, ask to speak to their man in charge of economic policies, and tell them that's what you want to do. And don't believe the Austrian uh, equilibrium curves that say you can't do that, you can't add money in the economy because it's going to increase prices and it's going to therefore not be worth anything. That's a bunch of bullshit. And forget Mises and the Austrian economists. Uh, they're just flat fucking wrong, okay? And 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 in fact, my first economics teacher back in the '60s at the University of Oklahoma pretty much said that they were flat fucking wrong, and he didn't use the word fucking, but that's pretty much what he said. He said he drew the curve up on the blackboard and said, "What we need to do is take these curves and throw them right out those windows over there, out on the lawn." And every time I pass those windows, I think of Dr. Brinker. Thank you, Dr. Brinker, for giving me something that's uh, lasted this long in my life, a truth that we need to get rid of those equilibrium curves. They don't work, never did. And so, anyway, let's occupy the Need Act. Let's uh, end fractional reserve banking, and let's take the power to create money ourselves and keep us human, because we are, I think, seriously in danger of not being human anymore. Bye now. I'll see you again maybe tomorrow. Bye now.